Hey, we're on. Yes, indeed. It is a big, big day all around Central Florida and all over the world. There's a big football game coming up tonight. We can't say the name of it because of trademark infractions, but that's okay. We may talk about that a little bit today. Our buddy Heath Nalos is here. This is Law 2020, brought to you by the BCN Law Firm. BCN Law Firm with offices in Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, and now a brand new office up in my town of the Villages right on 466. If you're anywhere in Lake, Sumter, Marion counties, you can go right over to 466 and you're right there, 4-lane all the way. All right, so if you want to call them anytime, you've heard the commercial, you sing along, 855-LAW-2020, 855-LAW-2020. So today is the day that you want to make sure, in starting off with Heath here, that Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos, that's where the BCN comes from. But Heath, today's the day you want to make sure you have a designated driver so you don't have to call Brian Monk.
Correct. We don't really want a bunch of phone calls on Monday morning. We ask everybody to be careful today. It's a dangerous day to drive on the road, so get a designated driver. And I want to give all my shout out to all my friends right now getting ready for the big game today. Obviously, it's a big Sunday and a big game. And Wade Boyette right now, my partner, is smoking about probably 50 to 80 pounds of food at his house.
Oh, my goodness. Is that where the party's going to be?
I think so.
Somehow I didn't get invited. I don't know what's going to happen there. No, I'm just kidding around. But anyway, it's a really good day for America, but take it easy out there. We know you're going to be partying, whether you use mirrors or you use whatever, what's it called, Uber or whatever it's called.
Or just get a friend to be responsible.
There you go.
If you can't get a friend to be resposable yourself and volunteer to be a designated driver.
And even if you're in a golf cart up in the Villages, that you can still be arrested. So
correct. So just be careful, and the police will be on force today, as they should be. So just be careful out there.
And thank them. I mean, they're not getting to see the game. And
yes.
Arguably with today's climate out there, every time I see a law enforcement officer now, I either go up and shake his hand or tell him how much I respect them. They need that right now.
They do, and I always try to wave and befriend the local officers because they're doing a great job, and they have a hard job to do, and most of them are working today, and it's not a fun day to work.
And remember, move over. If you're on I-4 or the 408 or the 419, the 427, the 414, you see them with a car in front of them, get out 2 or 3 lanes away from them and let them do their job.
Give them space.
And that's dangerous. All right. What's been going on legally? What is your specialty at the BCN Law Firm?
My specialty is insurance, and insurance, from personal injury to homeowner claims, slip and fall accidents. I have 18 years experience, and I head up the litigation department at our firm. We handle almost any insurance claim. We really specialize in property claims, commercial claims, and personal injury, car accidents, slip and falls. And
you're the expert when it comes to what Florida seems to be known for, besides every now and then a hurricane and our beautiful weather. But we have something here called sinkholes, and of all the people I've known in 61 years, you know more about sinkholes than anybody I know.
Yeah, I kind of fell into sinkholes about 18 years ago. Pardon the pun there. But it's something I've been doing for a long time, and it takes a lot of experience to really figure out what's going on in a sinkhole case and what causes sinkholes, what are the factors to look for if you have a sinkhole or a settlement, a lot of different issues. And right now, it's also the start of our hail season in Florida. Really, February to April, you see a lot of hail damage to roofs. And if you have a hailstorm, check out your roof and report to your insurance company if you have damage, because they're obligated to replace the roof if you have a certain amount of damage on the roof.
Hey, that's good news. That is something really good to know. What about insurance and sinkholes? I know you get involved in that quite a bit.
We do. You're insured under your homeowner's policy for catastrophic ground collapse coverage. So if you make the news, you're covered. If a hole opens up in your house and you fall in partially, you're covered.
Wow.
Otherwise, you have to have the optional sinkhole coverage, which has changed the last 2 years. So it's not what it used to be, and it only covers for really significant claims versus minor cracks. And sometimes the minor cracks could be your tile floor across your whole living room could have a crack right through it, and it's not covered.
So to buy the sinkhole insurance, is it really expensive?
In certain areas, very expensive. In other areas, not so much. But they're trying to make everybody kind of drop the coverage so you don't have it. And it's going to a point where I think down the road it'll be almost useless coverage. But if you're in the west coast of Florida, it's hugely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
There are neighborhoods on the west coast where every house in the neighborhood of, say, 500 homes has a sinkhole claim.
Is that right?
Just the way that God created Florida, they're sitting on white beach sand and limestone, and the water goes down, and it causes voids and settlement issues with the limestone and water interacting, and it causes problems to the houses. So in reality, not a good place to build a house. But we have that here in Central Florida as well, in Ocala especially, going down south, and in Orange and Lake County, you see that more around lakes than you do at other places.
Yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, and in recent years, we've had years where those lakes have almost been dry.
The Claremont chain is finally back, so everybody in Claremont is now able to get their boat in the water
again.
at least, but it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. But if you go up around Lake Weir, you can see where the water used to be 20, 30 years ago, because there's actually some docks up there that are built on platforms. Those things are so far away from the water now, you can build a house around them.
That's where Claremont was the last 5 years or 6 years.
It was terrible.
If you go to the west over Hernando County, you see a lot of docks and boats sitting in the middle of these big dried out lake beds. You can't find standing water over there with the pumping and the sinkholes and everything else.
It's not good. Hey, if you got a question, we have Heath Nalos with us. His BCN law firm is Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos. If you ever need them, it's 855-LAW-2020. That's 855-529-2020. 855-529-2020. They have offices in Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, and the Villages. And as Heath and I and Wade and I and Brian Monk often talk about when we're doing this show is, it's just a nice idea to get a relationship going with a law firm. You know, you don't want this to be a last-minute decision. You don't want to have a wreck and look up at a billboard and go, oh, I'm just going to call 1-800 blah, 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 and get advice on how to handle everything. If you had an attorney already and you're in a real estate transaction, you get sued, somebody comes up to you in a parking lot and hands you a summons, any number of things that could happen. You get stopped tonight going home from that football party, and all of a sudden you got a DUI staring you in the face. Well, wouldn't it be easier just to reach in your back pocket, get the card out, and call an attorney that already knows who you are, and therefore you're going through the process quicker, right, Heath?
That's great advice, Bob. We have a full-service law firm. In fact, most of my clients come from past clients or clients of the firm already who come to us for a real estate transaction or something else. Then they realize they know their attorney. They respect us. They like us. They come back to us for any legal action. So it really makes things a lot better to have a firm you can go to, because the reality is no one wants to call an attorney. Usually not the first choice. What you want to do in the morning is select to find an attorney in the phone book and call somebody up at random. You want to find somebody that you know already, have a relationship with already, you know in the community that you have a good referral source from. So I would recommend anybody to make a relationship with a law firm.
And as a student of Central Florida, just watching the way things go, I've noticed something else. There are some gargantuan law firms out there, you know, and then there's the smaller, almost family-based like BCN, where you did kind of the Dancing of the Stars thing to help the community. Every one of the people at BCN is plugged into this community. You see them in Publix. You see them at church. You see their kids at church. Your kids go to school where they go to school. So, I mean, you're part of the community. You're not some big, gigantic national or international corporation with 700 lawyers.
No, we're a large firm for our area, but we are a small firm, too. We volunteer. We do a lot for charity. I serve on at least 6 boards right now for charity. My partner, Wade Boyette, does also. We're involved everywhere, and I do see my clients at Publix, and I see them 10 years later. And it's great to remember their name. Remember that we go up and say hi to each other, get to hug to each other. It's a nice feeling to have. So I'm not going anywhere. BCN is not going anywhere. So we plan to be here for a long time.
And you've got offices very conveniently located, as I mentioned, right there in Winter Park. Nice office. Claremont, right kind of where it all began. Lakeland, great location. And the Villages. So, I mean, tied into every one of those areas. Wade grew up down in the Lakeland area. He knows everybody down there.
And so my wife, Kristen's an attorney with us, too, for 18 years. And her father, the Cummins of the firm, is a 40-year attorney. And he's been a real estate attorney in Lake County and Orange County for 40 years, knows everything about real estate. So if you have a complicated question, great guy to go to. And
I've always said, I've never had the honor of meeting Mr. Cummins, but I understand from all the people I know from the time I moved to Lake County in 1978, he kind of built that county. He was one of the original people helping to through its course.
And the legal community is very well respected. He knew all the judges back before they were judges, and he's not afraid to tell them that. So he's been there. He's paid his dues. And we'll bring him on the show one time. It'll be a treat for all of us.
Oh, I tell you what, you'll have all of Lake County listening to that one. We're going to take a break right now. You are listening to Law 2020. Call your friends. Let them know. They could call up too. They don't have to use their real name. And the phone lines are totally open right now. That means I've got 5 open lines. You can call. Just say you have a friend with a legal problem. You don't have to admit it's you. It's okay with us. Maybe you could help a friend. So give us a call right now. 855-297-9696. That's 855-297-9696. Or you could text us at 21232, 21232. We'll be back right after 3 big things you need to know. You gotta love it. We want to thank Tim for hitting all the right buttons and all the right time. This is Law 2020, and it's powered by your law firm, BCN Law Firm, offices in the Villages, right there on 466, Lakeland, Claremont, and Winter Park. That's right, 855-LAW-2020. That's 855-529-2020. Heath Nalos is my special guest. He knows a lot about the law, and he knows a lot about football and a lot about the Central Florida community. Very, very involved in it. Sits on like 6 community boards of some great nonprofits out there. And you can call him during this segment of the show and the next segment. Any legal question you've got. I mean, he's in the office, and he's got the legal background, and he's got his law school behind him. You can call us right now at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. Use the texting feature, 21232, 21232. If you don't know how to text, ask your kids. And one other feature. During the week with Joe Kelly in the Morning News, 5 until 9, I always hear you all using the open mic feature on the News 96.5 app on your phone. You don't have to just reserve that Monday through Friday for Joe. You can use it with our shows, too, by just asking the question, by saying, Heath, here's my question. And we just air that. You won't have to hang on the phone, so you're not tying up your minutes or anything else. Any legal things that are coming around. Is there anything that's a real buzz right now in Central Florida that's got the attention of you all when you're sitting around the water cooler?
Well, this year the legislature is going to take up auto insurance again and have a good feeling they're going to try to change the policy significantly.
Really?
So please pay attention to the newspaper and the news at night. I think they're trying to expand the bodily injury coverage finally. It hasn't changed since 1974. Right now we have no bodily injury requirements in Florida, so we're way behind the times. Other states have $100,000 minimums. We have no minimums.
Wow. So
we really need to change that policy and get better laws in place to require drivers to cover their injuries they cause, which would be good for all of us. And
it looks like in the past, at least with the experience I'm going through right now, that the laws have always kind of favored the insurance company, like putting caps on damages and things like that. So is that going to be up for review?
The caps on damages, I'm not sure this time, especially in medical malpractice, that comes up quite a bit. But on bodily injury, no. It's more the medical malpractice caps. Oh,
okay. And again, when you're looking at possible changes in Florida law having to do with car insurance, one of the things that you and I have talked about when we get together on this show is we've talked about people who need to take out uninsured, but there's also something called underinsured, right?
Correct.
Tell us about what the differences are.
It's actually the same. coverage covers both situations. But for example, if you get into an accident caused by somebody else and they have no BI coverage because they don't have to have it, then you turn to your own insurance company for uninsured motorist coverage. Also, if you get into an accident by somebody else and they have a, say, $10,000 policy, then you go back to your coverage, the underinsured coverage, and they stand in the shoes of the person that hit you. They provide coverage for your injuries based on your policy. It's actually not it's a very cheap coverage, but so necessary. I don't want to stand on a soapbox, and if you have an insurance agent, I'm sure they'll tell you need this coverage in Florida because a lot of our drivers have no BI coverage, or they have no license, or they're illegal aliens, and there's a lot of things out here in Florida. We get a lot of transients here, and the transients don't know how to drive, they don't know the roads, and they cause accidents, and you need to protect yourself and your family.
So kind of walk me through this. I've heard of cases that have come up where, as I understood it, the insurance agent must present you with a form that says you've been offered the uninsured motorist, and if you are turning it down, you must sign that form. As I understood it, in a couple of cases, the insurance agent never brought it up, and so the insurance company had to take it on the chin, right?
Correct. And the form's got to be in the proper font, believe it or not. It's got to be the right font. To be.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, there's litigation on that. And traditionally, you'd go meet your insurance agent, and they'd talk to you in person about the coverages, and you had to sign a form. The problem is now a lot of it's done online. So you're not really talking to anybody to explain it to you. Some people don't know enough about it, so they're looking for the cheapest coverage available.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not talking to an agent. You're on the computer screen filling out a form. And they don't read the form, and they check it off no because they want to save money, and that's a mistake. And also on insurance applications, this is an area I've litigated for years. It's so important to not fib on an application. A lot of people kind of check the no box when they probably should check the yes box on prior claims, on anything on that application. It's got to be accurate. It's the easiest defense for an insurance company to avoid a claim. And
really?
What happens is the claim is, if they find an application, they call it misrep in the application, and it could be unintentional, the claim is voided from ab initio from the beginning, so you have no coverage.
Oh, wow.
And the funnest case ever litigated was up in the Panhandle on a hurricane. And this guy had a yacht, and the yacht was washed up basically on a person's house on the beach in Panama City. He had to take the yacht out of the harbor. Hurricane came, yacht's on the back of a guy's mansion. And we found out the guy lied on every question in the application, I think. He said he was a former naval commander. No, he got discharged from the Army for stealing. He said he had sailed around the world. No, his first boat. He had 120 personal injury actions across the state of Florida, slip and falls. Everything on this thing was wrong. It's hilarious. So we litigated this 3 years, and the yacht landed on the back of a former admiral commander's yard.
Oh, that's not good.
Not good at all, no.
No, you don't ever lie about military accomplishments.
No. This guy couldn't sail a dinghy, much less a yacht. So he was a character.
Oh.
And we ended up taking. I worked for insurance companies back then. It's been 16 years ago, and we spent a lot of time on federal court in the case. Won the case, and took the yacht. And but more stories don't lie in the application. This guy was above and beyond. But even the smallest things can hurt your claim.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
All right, very good. We're going to take a break for news, traffic, and weather. Let me give you the contact information for the BCN Law Firm. It's bcnlawfirm.com. And B is Boyette, C, Cummins, and Nalos, our guest right now, right in here. 855-LAW-2020. That's 855-529-2020, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're always standing by to help you in Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, and the Villages. We will be back with a lot more right after Dave Wall brings us up to date on the three big things we need to know. Hey, this is Law 2020. You hear it every single Sunday, 12 noon to 1 o'clock. And that's a good time for you to have your friends call in with their legal questions. You don't have to use your real name, and you don't even have to say it's you. You can say you have a good friend that needs legal advice from the BCN Law Firm. That would be Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos. You can reach them anytime at 855-LAW-2020. You can sing along with that if you want. 855-LAW. That's 529-2020. Offices, Claremont, the Villages, Lakeland, and Winter Park. And there's an awful lot of associates. How many associates do you have that work for BCN?
10 total attorneys. And most of our associates are actually more experienced than I am. We have 25 years attorneys. We have 40-year attorneys. We have a great team of legal minds there.
And I tell you what, everybody is just so plugged into the community, so youth-minded, and they get things done out there. I tell you what, it's a great, great bunch of people to do business with. And we were talking about sinkholes. We were talking about insurance applications, talking about pending legislation that could change things in the state. And you want to kind of review that because I think we pick up audience members at the break at the bottom of the hour for some reason. So what is the proposed legislation and what are the good ramifications of it if we want to call our state representatives?
The good ramifications are an increase in bodily injury coverage. I don't know what the full bill is going to be, but I do know they're pushing to increase the BI coverage. Right now, we have no BI requirements in Florida, which is very outdated. Has not been changed since, I believe, 74. So it's time to get in the modern age here and get some good insurance requirements, because you can get seriously injured or killed in a car accident, and you want to have coverage for your family if that happens.
Oh, my goodness gracious me. I couldn't imagine such a thing. And I can't imagine why we don't have that.
I can't either. It ties into our PIP laws, and every year they change the PIP laws to save money for the insurance companies, but our rates never go down.
Yeah.
So at some point it's time to gut the system and restart this and do it the right way.
Well, it really is. And I guess there's something to be said for affordability out there. There's an awful lot of people in Florida who are living in the service industry or, down on their luck that just can't afford a lot of insurance.
Correct, because the PIP is so expensive, but the BI coverage and UM coverage is actually very cheap for the money you spend.
I almost wish that the driver's license or your insurance card had a chip in it, so that if a law enforcement officer pulled up next to your car, he could pick up that whether you had it or didn't have it. And I know it sounds really, really bad, but I'm sick and tired of people being out there with, 1, no driver's license, but 2, no insurance.
Correct, and even the low-level policies are so bad that anytime a client says I have full insurance coverage, I cringe, because it always means they have the worst insurance coverage.
I can remember a day, and you can too, because you've been around here a long time. Remember when there used to be an insurance carrier here in Central Florida with an office on almost every corner, and he said, just get your PIP.
Yes.
I think it was $49 or $29 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely no BI covers there, no UM covers there. It's just the minimum requirements to get on the road. Oh. And they would do a pay-per-month plan. So you get your card, and you may not pay the second month, but you got your card. So if you get pulled over, you can say, I've got a card. And people will get it and stop paying, and it's just a disaster. It's
a nightmare. I don't see them around anymore, but I guess they were pretty popular at one time.
That's a blessing, Ashley.
Yeah. You can call the show right now at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. What's next on your agenda?
Well, let's talk about roof claims. Now, hail season is starting now, and a lot of roofing companies, you have a hail in the neighborhood. Your neighbors make claims. You decide, if they have a claim next door and it's paid for, I need to make a claim too. You call a roofing company at random, usually from the Yellow Pages, and they show up at your house, and they say, I can't get on your roof till you sign these documents. And people typically just sign the documents without reading them. The reality is they're assigning your rights to your insurance claim to the roofing company. It's called an assignment of benefits. So when you sign that form, you have no right to sue the insurance company. The money goes to the roofing company, and they may actually settle it for more than the roof repairs cost, which leads me to think that they're fixing your house for cheap typically, and you lose any standing to do anything. So please don't sign forms like that. Call an attorney, call me. I'll walk you through it. It's been going on for a long time, and this may also be a new legislation to stop this too.
I never heard of that.
Yes, it's proposed this year to stop this homeowner claims, or they come out there and say, sign this, and people sign it, and they lose their rights to the claim. Basically, they have the right to get the claim repaired if it's covered, but they're not in control anymore.
And we remember too much 2004, 4 hurricanes in a period of, 17 weeks, and there were an awful lot of roofers coming in here with a magnetic sign on the side of their truck that had no idea what the heck they were doing.
That was terrible. I had a 2-year-old at the time, or actually about 1.5-year-old. My son, he's 12 now, I believe, but he's a young boy, and we lost power in every hurricane. I had a bunch of oak trees in my street, and it took out the wires. Every hurricane, we lost about 6 days of power. So we were living out of a pool, I think, taking pool baths. It was a tough time, but
yeah, that'll do it every time. I remember traveling back and forth between a radio station north of here and here, doing hurricane coverage back and forth, because I kind of specialize in that, something that I just love doing, and staying up late, 129 hours one time. I
had to do a seminar one time for other lawyers at a hotel here in town the day after the hurricane. And the hotel windows were blown out with glass. And I was giving the seminar to about 45, 50 attorneys.
And we're kind of past due, All right, we are getting a question from a Fred. We'll get with him in just a second as soon as we can line him up. But you can call in any legal question you've got. Heath Nalos is here. He can address it very arguably and very well. So anyway, let me give you that number. It's 855-297, 9696, or sometimes the 855 number over the weekend's been dropping out, so try the 407-297-9696. If you're on a cell phone, it doesn't matter. There's no long-distance charges with the cell phones these days. Or text us at 21232, 21232. All right, we've got Fred on the line. Fred, what is your legal question for the BCN Law Firm, and in particular, Heath Nalos?
Good afternoon. The question is, one of my coworkers, he has a little dog, and he's taking care of it, got all the shots, and his own private dog bit him in the thumb. Didn't sound like a big deal, but his dog started acting funny. So he went to the hospital and the emergency room, and they checked him out. They said that doctor said you have to have a rabies vaccine, a rabies shot, $36,000. So I don't know if that would be covered on his, for instance, his homeowner's insurance, or if he has any legal things that he could do to help him out.
Yeah, good question, Fred. Unfortunately, it's not covered under the homeowner's policy.
Okay.
I'm assuming he has no health insurance.
Yes, he does, but
Okay.
he has $4,000 deductible, so
It-
that's helping out some.
It's he's probably going to have to eat that deductible, but it's worth it to stay alive, I think.
Yeah, well, that's the way he looked at it. But then again, he doesn't even know if the dog has rabies or not, because they have to. They're going to put the dog down and do their rabies test, which involves dissecting the poor dog.
That's tragic. Can he wait till after the dog gets down first, or he has to start the shots now?
No, I think they just pretty much do him in right away.
I thought so too.
He's already got the shots, and he has to go for another round. I don't know if that's another $36,000.
I hope not. The good thing is a lot of hospitals are negotiable if you go in person and talk to the people in charge of the bills there and sit down with them, explain the situation.
Right.
That bill can be reduced substantially. Our payment plans can be worked out.
What about the vet? You know, the vet supposedly gives vaccines, or doesn't the vaccine maker have some liability on it?
Potentially, but I never sued a vet for a dog case, so I don't want to give advice on that.
Okay.
But the coverage is there, though. I'm sure someone has.
Okay.
And
all right, guys.
More than likely, the dog doesn't have rabies. They're being careful, but it leaves your friend in a bad situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Ugh.
All right.
Terrible.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, Fred. Have a good day.
Super Bowl. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right. Now, we're going to come back with Bob's question. So, Bob, please don't hang up because we have a mandatory break right now. But please don't hang up. We'll be back with you in about 3 to 4 minutes. Put the phone down, go over and get yourself a nice libation, an iced tea or something. And we will be back with Heath Nalos of the BCN Law Firm. We call it Law 2020, and their phone number is the same, 855-LAW-2020. We'll be back. We're back. Heath Nalos is with us. Boyette, Cummins & Nalos, BCN Law Firm. Offices in Lakeland, the Villages, Claremont, and Winter Park. BCN, that's a B, a C, and an N, lawfirm.com. And don't forget, you can watch these videos that we're shooting of this show, and I'm now on the videos after about 2 or 3 years of not being able to. But you can look up the YouTube channel, BCN Law Firm. All right? BCN Law Channel on YouTube, and you can actually watch the shows being done. Kind of interesting, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. All right, let's go to Bob. Bob, how can we help you?
Hey, how you doing? I was curious. A friend of mine was telling me about Social Security since I was married before. Something would happen to me. What happens to the Social Security?
What happened to you, Bob?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think what he said is if something happens to him. Is that what you said, Bob?
Yeah, right.
Okay, if you passed away, possibly, something like that?
That's correct. What happens to the Social Security that I get?
Would it pass on to your spouse, you mean, or where would it pass to?
Right. Which one, my ex-wife or my current wife?
It'd be your current wife, if anything.
Oh, okay.
Your ex-wife
A
would have
friend of mine said since you were married for 15 years before and you've only been married 8 years now, he said it would go to my ex-wife. I was just wondering about that.
Can you call my Claremont office on Monday and ask for me, Heath, and I'll get you in touch with my Social Security specialist for that question?
Sure.
Yeah, I've got a specialist involved in the firm who handles that, and they may have a better answer than me, but I think it would go to your wife, but I will find out for sure.
Okay, he may have been mistaken about that 10 years because there are some Social Security ramifications that require 10 years. But I think if you're still married, your person can clarify that for them. You can actually call that office direct, Bob, at 352-394-2103, 352-394-2103, or 855-LAW-2020, 855-LAW-2020. Let's sneak Veronica in on the show. Veronica, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, what's your question now?
My question is, I have a homeowner's insurance and I have damage to my roof, and I called the insurance company, but they told us they have to wait because they have to call my other insurance, the insurance that I had before, check if I have a claim there.
Okay, what kind of claim did you have again?
Wind damage.
Wind damage, okay. Did you change insurance companies?
Yes, because I have an old house, and after 8 years of that insurance company, they told me I have to change my roof, and then they dropped me if I don't change it. So, and then they dropped me, and I found another insurance in 2013, and last year I had the damage on my roof, and they told me that I have to wait. They have to call the other insurance company and check if I have a claim there. I don't know what's the connection with that.
I think they're just investigating the claim and seeing if the damage is pre-existing.
Okay.
We'd love to help you out. If you need help, please call me at the office. But it sounds like they're trying to find a way not to pay the claim by going back to your prior company and trying to find what information they have. But if it's called, the important thing is date of loss, when the actual injury occurred. And if the injury occurred under the new policy, the new company's responsible for it. So don't let them play games with you, and I think you need to see an attorney if this goes on further.
Okay.
And be happy to talk to you anytime, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Veronica. Have a great day.
Okay, very good. And again, if you ever have a question or you just like to set up an affiliation, an association with a law firm that's very friendly, very plugged into the community, their office is near you. I mean, Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, the Villages, go ahead and just call for a free consultation. Get to know everybody. See if there's a fit there. And, put their card in your wallet, and then you're covered. Make sure all your family members have it. 855-LAW-2020. That's 855-529-2020. I really like the fact that you've got somebody there in your office that specializes in the crazy world that is Social Security. Because most people think, as we know on another show we do on this station on Sunday mornings, that Social Security is not all about 62, 66, and 70. It has a lot to do with previous marriages, current marriages, age difference between a spouse and another spouse, who's earning the most. I mean, you can do a lot of things like register and then unregister. You can do an awful lot with Social Security.
And also the Social Security disability, too, is a big thing. That's a different area of Social Security where you go on disability for your injuries. I thought that last class was talking about that, not regular Social Security. But a lot of things are moving parts to the picture there. So
very, very cool. All right, we've got about 3 minutes to spend together, Heath. And what are we going to do with that 3 minutes?
Well, all my friends going out to the boat show today, which I highly encourage. It's a great event for Central Florida. Stop by my friends at GT Marine, Gary and Donnie, and they'll take good care of you if you need a new boat. But it's a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
I think the one good thing about a boat is it brings your family together. Your kids may be always wanting to run down to the Smith house and watch their big screen or play their video games. But when you say we're going to buy a boat, no, the Smith kids are going to be with your kids, and everybody's going to be on your boat.
It's a good way to get your son and daughter off the computer and get them outside and spending time with the family. So I highly encourage in Central Florida, having a boat is a great thing.
Get some of that vitamin D. And that show is remarkable. It's beautiful. They've been advertising on the station here, but it is a beautiful show. So you can sneak down there this afternoon, get down there, see the show. It'll take you about an hour, 2 hours, and have a little lunch or dinner, and then go back and watch that big game tonight. What is that game?
I can't really mention the name of the game, but we call it the big game today.
And who are you liking in the big game?
I'm liking the team from the Northwest. I'll put it that way.
Oh, we can say their name. Yeah, we can say Seattle. Right?
I was a Packer fan going to the playoffs. A friend of mine invited me and my son to go to Lambeau Field on a Monday night about a month ago.
What a dream.
In the box, met the general manager of the Packers. Amazing experience, great fan. So I've kind of shifted. I'm a Buck fan originally, and I'm second Packer fan too.
Well, as you know, I worked for the Kansas City Chiefs for a lot of years, so I've always been a Chiefs fan. Things haven't been all that great since 1970 when they won the Super Bowl over the Vikings 27-17. But it's always fun to have a team you identify with.
That's worse than the Bucks. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time since they've been up there. But it's going to be fun watching the big game with Seattle and New England tonight. Everybody's got their favorite.
And Boston's an amazing town. My wife runs the Boston Marathon every couple of years. And it's just a great town, great people. Hard to root against them.
1 minute to go. Drop by the boat show. They've been advertising on the station here. And don't forget, tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, your all-news morning show. There's so much to catch up on. The Romney story, the beheading of another prisoner this weekend by IS or ISIS, one of the two. Also, there's big stuff in the news today coming out of the Hill. So we want you to tune in tomorrow morning starting at 5 o'clock, the all-news morning show, Orlando's only, with the only Joe Kelly and his team of about, I think there's 40 or 50 people wrapped up in that morning show. All right, BCNLawFirm.com. That is Boyette, Cummins, and Nalos. BCNLawFirm.com. Look them up. See all the cool things they do. Winter Park, Claremont, Lakeland, the Villages. Write this number down, 855-LAW-2020. Put it in your contacts, 855-LAW-2020. Thank you very much, Heath, for being with us today, buddy.
Have a great day. Thank you.